It's a widely shared opinion that Season 5 is one of the best in the history of Thomas and Friends. The plots are that good, the storytelling is incredible, and the regular accidents are top notch.
Help me! Please!
Indeed, I also share that opinion. Season 5 is one of my two favourites, the other being Season 1. My first experience with Season 5 was in October 1998 with Spooks and Surprises. This video is a unique specimen for me. I still have fond memories of this video being promoted in stores. In the UK, we have a supermarket chain known as Asda. The mother and I were making a shopping trip in October. It's also a common fact that as a child, shopping is one of the most boring things a 5-year-old can experience. Eventually, I found my way into the video section, the only worthwhile section in the store as far as I'm concerned, and what do you know, this thing is being promoted. Spooks and Surprises, 9 episodes from Season 5, fresh from the oven, known as children's TV. I still remember this well. Quite often these days, when you're promoting a new release, they showcase various clips from said release on a TV in the media section. That's exactly what they did with Spooks and Surprises. All you had to do was push a button near the TV and this is what you'd see.
It was a moonlit night and Henry was working with Edward. The big green engine was taking a goods train to the station by the lake. Whenever that owl hoots, a mist rolls in, murmured Edward. There's a legend that when the mist's about, there's a ghost about too. Take care on the old line, Henry. Stupid bird, said Henry. Owls, mists, ghosts. Edward's going soft in the boiler. There's no mist. But Henry was wrong. What's that? Cried Henry. It's an amber lamp, murmured his driver. That means proceed with caution. Who's there? No one replied. Henry crept slowly forward.
That was enough to keep me interested. It was only 60 seconds of one episode, but I was more than happy. Cliché, I know, but that's how kids roll. I no doubt badgered my mother incessantly for this. It was in my possession by Christmas 1998, just over 2 months later, and I'm willing to bet I was watching this within an hour of receiving this, watching and loving it. There's two things I could say began here. First thing, the bigger deal, was the collector in me. I barely collected seasons 2 through 4, but with season 5, I eventually came into ownership of every season 5 release. This continued with season 6 and 7. Every release I picked up, but it all began with season 5. This is where it all began. The second thing is something I've covered many times before, but it fits here, so I'm going to mention it again.
What's my name? All right.
I grew up with season 1 and Ringo's Star. Season 2, same deal, Ringo. The very few season 3 and 4 releases I own, Ringo. It's Ringo, right? Sounds like him. Yeah, I've made this joke many times before. See, the narrator was never credited in season 5, but I could not help but have suspicions that this wasn't Ringo. I wasn't sure who he was, but I kinda liked this guy. This was in the early days of the internet, so there was probably very little info out there, and the video box told me nothing. So effectively, since this is when his voices became super noticeable, this was my proper introduction to Michelangelos. I've mentioned his name, so now I'm going to have to make the joke.
His name's Nigel. Dr. Nigel Botterill.
The series may be new, but the jokes go on. I think it's well established by now that anytime I talk about my history with Mike, I am pretty much obligated to use that joke. So what else is there to say about Spooks and Surprises that doesn't involve me talking about you-know-who? There's 9 episodes, 6 of which feature an accident. That was a massive thing in Season 5. 26 episodes in all, at least 80% of them feature a crash or an accident. With these 9 episodes, while there's not always a crash, every episode features at least one character becoming spooked or surprised. Oh, so that's where the title comes from. Clever.
Oh, he's good. You're very good.